Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I have a fun video using some Polkadoodles products. They are these super kind of quirky, cool girls, and these are actually digital files. So I purchased a bundle. I've been eyeing Polkadoodles for a while now, so a couple of weeks ago I finally decided to just go ahead and purchase some products. And again, these are digital products, so I did not receive anything physical. So the bundle I ordered is called Rebel, and there's a ton of stuff that comes in that bundle, including images that are already colored, which is fantastic if you're not like a great colorist like me. These are great as a reference to practice. Plus they're super cute and they make absolutely the quickest cards ever, because all you have to do is print them and add them to your card. And so I went ahead and I printed off several of the black and white images so that I can color those, and then again, the colored images that are already colored. And then I also printed off some of the pattern paper. So the bundle comes with a lot of images, as well as a couple of sentiment sheets and a couple of different packs of pattern paper. And so I wanted to let you know, though, that my printer absolutely surprised me. I did not think that my printer could print like this. And my printer is more than a couple of years old. It's an inkjet printer by Canon. And I think it's a 5500 or a 5200, but it is nowhere near like brand new and like professional. It's just a run-of-the-mill printer, and I honestly was so impressed that it was able to print these papers. So these are the pattern papers that I went ahead and I printed out, and I printed these directly from my paint program. So it's printing, except for this one, border to border or edge to edge, so the full sheet is covered with that print. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these and cut them into 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'll get 4 out of each. But again, I was so super surprised that I was able to get this great of a quality. And I am printing on hammer mill cardstock, which is the same cardstock that I used for alcohol marker coloring. This is 100 pounds, and I didn't have any trouble printing it or feeding it through my machine. But I've learned recently that if you're in the market for a new printer, to get a rear feed printer, because it does not have to kind of reverse when you're putting paper through. So you can get a thicker paper in there and not have to worry about it jamming up. But I wanted to show really quickly kind of my process for getting the digital images. So I've already grabbed the digital images after purchase and unzipped the file. So I have all of my files here. And what I've done is I am using a word processing document, and I've created a text box kind of just to keep in line with making sure they fit on my cards. So I'm basically creating my layout, dropping the picture that I want in, and I like to use the 8.5 by 11 size because I don't like to waste paper. Like, I don't want to just print one image and then have the rest of the paper blank. So that is why you see that I have 4 images already on the page. And then the sentiments are transparent. So when you get the file, at least from Polkadoodles and lots of other companies, you'll get the files in a JPG format and a PNG. The PNG can be transparent, and so that's great for layering digital images. And like what I'm doing right now is I am taking that sentiment and layering it over my colored image. So with that transparency in the background, it's really easy to do that, and it looks really super nice. I wanted to mention that I do have a few videos about digital stamps that I will include below if you're new, just to give you a little bit more information and a little more in depth about how to kind of work with them. But these are my pattern papers right here. And so I'm just going in, and this is my paint program. It's paint.net. It is a free paint program, and I'm just printing those directly from that program. And it printed, like I said, fabulous. So here are all of the panels that I have already cut down, and I am going to go ahead and create all of my cards off screen. It is really just as simple as just gluing everything together. And sometimes it's nice to not have to do coloring and not have to, do technique or whatever. So I also did on my card bases for these, I printed them off on the printer. I don't have a hand stamp, and so I have a website that I am rolling out hopefully within the next month or so, and so I put that information on the back of the card. I just think it looks so professional and clean. I love it. So if you're looking to do something like that as well, it's super easy, and if you're interested, I would be happy to show you how I've done that on my cards. But here are all of the images that are already colored. And I just love them. They're so cute and their expressions are so funny. So I think this would be a perfect set for gifting. And then for the black and the white images, I've actually printed them twice. And these ones I printed, I cut, and I rounded the corners. And those are going to be my backgrounds for most of the cards. And the first two images, I want to use my Zig brush markers with water. And so this was printed on my laser printer. And the laser printer will take foil, water, alcohol markers. It will take everything that you have to throw at it. This one was printed on my inkjet printer, so I am going to assume that my printer has some kind of dye-based ink in it, because I was able to color these with alcohol markers without any smearing. But I will tell you that I printed them one day and then I didn't color until the next, just because I couldn't get around to it. So it did have a lot of time to dry, and that might be why it didn't smear. I don't know if you could print it right off and immediately color on it. And I also don't know the differences between all of the inkjet printers. So your inkjet printer might just not absolutely take alcohol markers even after a lot of drying time, but it's something you'll have to experiment with if you are interested in using digital images. But I would say if you have a laser printer, to just go ahead and use that, because it will take anything. Like I said, alcohol markers, you can use watercolor, but this did work for me as far as using my inkjet. So just experiment and see what happens. So this card, I went ahead, and the reason that I am layering the colored image on top of the black and white is because there's a little like splatter and some little details in the background of most of these stamps. And I didn't want to miss out on that and not include it. And so I've gone ahead and I've fussy cut all of the images that I've colored and layered them on top of this other piece of cardstock, on top of the black and white image, all except for one of the images. And so I'm going to go ahead and adhere or assemble this first one, and then the rest of them I'm just going to show you because it's basically the same. The sentiments, except for the very last card, are all sentiments that I have printed out just from my computer. There are lots of free fonts that you can get out there. I use Dafont, DAFONT.com, I believe is what it is. And there's just so many different fonts, and you download them and they are on your computer for use in your word processing program. And so it's really easy just to go ahead and create these sentiments. I really love this one for her. She looks like she wants to annoy some people, so that's the perfect sentiment. This card right here is actually one colored with my brush markers and water. And then this one is another colored with alcohol markers. And then the last one is my Zigs again. And I messed up on her eyes, so she does look like she's a little bit ill. But I meant to put a little bit of green around her eyes, and it ended up being her entire eyeball. So she doesn't look very happy. But here are all of the images. I just love these, and it's super fun. You can decide whether you want to color your own images or print out the already colored images, or do both. But it's a really cute set. And again, this is called Rebel. I will go ahead and leave a link for Polkadoodles below, and you can check them out. They do not just sell digital items, though. They do have physical products, but they are overseas. I'm in the United States, and they are overseas. And they do have some retailers here in the United States, though. I also will leave links to the videos, the two videos I have about digital images. One of them just kind of explains all the great things about digital images, and then the other is more of an in-depth on how to use them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it or find it informative, I would love a thumbs up. As always, I thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope to see you next time.